Hi, welcome to my room. Today we are going to be talking about trigonomic functions and how are they used in everyday life. Well, so first and foremost, you need trigonomic functions for trigonometry class. Trigonometry class is in real life, so therefore you need trigonomic functions for real life. Now, anyway, okay. So in all seriousness, let's get into it. So trigonomic functions, the first application in real life is going to be in architecture. So in architecture, you need to know what the angle of the roof is. So if you have the height of the building, for instance, the attic portion of it, and you have the length of what you wanted to do, then you can find the angle of the roof using a cosine equation that we learned in trigonometry. That is a very simple use of the trigonomic functions that we've learned in previous chapters, but it's still very applicable and useful today in architecture. So another use of the trigonomic functions using sine, cosine, or tan would be using one of these functions to find how far away an object is. Let's say that we try to find the distance from here to a deserted island out in the ocean. Just randomly, just because, we're curious people. We know how far away this point is, away from this point is. And then we know what the angle from this point to this point is. So therefore, let's say it's 40 degrees, right? So if it's 40 degrees, and we know the distance from this point to this point, let's say it's 10, and then we know the distance from this point to this point. No, we don't, because then that's what we're trying to find. So, how do we find that? Well, here's what we do. Tan equation, which is the opposite over the adjacent, and use some trigonomic functions, and therefore we get tan 40 equals x over 10. There we are. And then just plug it into your calculator, and there we go. Now we know the distance between the beach and this random island that's just out there. Because we wanted to know. We were curious people. We wanted to know, and therefore we now know. Maybe we need to take a boat out there, Maybe there's a good fishing spot. We need to know exactly, absolutely exactly how much fuel we need. Not a drop more, not a drop less, but the exact amount of fuel. Now, third and finally, there is another way that we can use or apply trigonometry in everyday life. Okay, let's say for instance you're in the military and you're in a submarine underneath the water, and you need to figure out where you're going to go, where you're going, and where you've been using sound. Well, the reason why you use sound is because there's no light over there and you can't see anything about 1,000 feet underneath the water. So what do? Well, the military has used sound for the past, I don't know, however many years, in order to actually navigate through the dark depths of the sea. So where does the sine wave come in? Well, the sine wave comes in when you bounce a sound off of a rock and then you receive it back, and based upon how it comes back, that's how you know where you are and where you've been, of course. So the submarine takes in all this information and knows where to go and where to not go based upon how strongly it comes back and how weakly it comes back, and based upon the shape that it comes back in as well. So that's how trigonometry is used in the world of submarines. That's all I have for you, and me and my very, very, very colorful room. And thank you for actually even paying attention and staying awake for the entire thing.